You are too useless to extend that. After your mother gave birth to you, she died. You are a cursed child.
The day my life ended, nobody heard me scream. The compound was quiet that afternoon. The hot Nigerian sun sat heavily on the rusty zinc roofs, and the dusty wind moved slowly through the mango trees in our yard. Everything looked normal. Children were playing in the streets, women were pounding yam in the neighboring compound, a radio somewhere was playing an old high life song. But inside our house, something evil was about to happen. My name is Adaize, and I was 23 years old when my own stepmother destroyed my life. I lived with my father and his new wife, Madame Beatrice, in a small town in eastern Nigeria. My mother had died when I was 16, leaving only my father and me. For 2 years after her death, my father refused to remarry. He said no woman could ever replace my mother. But loneliness can break even the strongest man. One evening, my father returned home with a woman standing beside him. She was tall, elegant, and wore expensive wrappers that smelled of strong perfume. "This is Beatrice," he told me with a gentle smile. "She will now take care of this house." I forced a smile and greeted her respectfully. But the moment our eyes met, something inside me felt wrong. Her smile was warm, but her eyes were cold. From the very beginning, Madame Beatrice did not like me. She hid it well when my father was around, but when he left for work every morning, her true face appeared. "Adaize," she would shout from the sitting room. "Yes, ma," I would answer quickly. "Why is the floor still dirty? Are you blind?" "I just finished sweeping." Slap. Her hand would land hard across my face before I could finish speaking. "Don't ever argue with me in this house," she would say with a dangerous smile. At first, I believed things would change with time. I tried everything to please her. I cooked, I washed, I cleaned the compound every morning before sunrise. But nothing was ever enough. The truth was simple. She hated me. And slowly, I began to understand why. Madame Beatrice wanted my father's wealth all to herself. My father was a successful palm oil trader in the town. He owned land, a large shop in the market, and several properties my late mother helped him build. But according to the village elders, those properties would eventually belong to me, his only child. Madame Beatrice could not accept that. One evening, while returning from the kitchen, I heard her whispering on the phone in her bedroom. Her voice was low and angry. "I cannot allow that girl to take everything," she said. There was silence on the other end. Then she continued, "No, I want her completely removed." My heart began beating fast. Removed? What did she mean? "I will come tomorrow night," she said again. "Prepare everything." The call ended. Fear crawled slowly into my chest like a cold snake. Something was terribly wrong. The next day, Madame Beatrice behaved strangely. She did not shout at me. She did not insult me. She even smiled when my father was around. That alone scared me because the kindness felt fake, like a trap waiting to close. That night, my father traveled to Lagos for business. As his car disappeared down the dusty road, Madame Beatrice stood at the gate watching until the headlights vanished. Then she slowly turned to look at me. The smile on her face had disappeared. "Adaize," she said calmly. "Yes, ma?" "Come inside. I want to show you something." Her voice was too soft, too gentle. My heart started beating fast again. Still, I followed her. Inside the house, the lights were dim. The air smelled strange, like burnt herbs and something rotten. As we entered the living room, I froze. 3 women were sitting on the floor. Old women. Their faces were covered with white chalk. Red beads hung around their necks, and a clay pot sat in the middle of the room with dark smoke rising from it. My stomach twisted. Madame Beatrice closed the door behind me. The sound echoed loudly. One of the old women looked up slowly and smiled. Her teeth were black. "So, this is the girl," she said. Madame Beatrice nodded. "Yes, she's the one." Fear flooded my body. "What is going on?" I asked nervously. Madame Beatrice's face changed completely. All the hatred she had been hiding finally appeared. "You think you will inherit my husband's property?" I don't understand." "You will understand very soon." Before I could move, the women grabbed me. I screamed, "Leave me! What are you doing?" One of them opened the clay pot and poured a thick, dark liquid into a calabash. The smell alone made me dizzy. Madame Beatrice stepped closer to me. Her eyes were burning with anger. "You will not die. No, you will simply become something else." My whole body began to shake. "What do you mean?" She leaned close to my ear. Her voice was colder than ice. "By tomorrow morning, nobody will ever recognize you again." The old woman began chanting. The room grew colder. The smoke from the pot filled the air. Then Madame Beatrice lifted the calabash and forced the dark liquid towards my mouth. And the moment it touched my lips, my whole body began to burn. Not like fire, like something inside my bones was breaking. My scream filled the entire house, but nobody came to help, because outside the compound gate, a lonely brown dog suddenly began barking wildly into the night. And inside the house, my transformation had already begun.
The pain was unbearable. It felt like every bone in my body was breaking at the same time. I screamed and struggled, but the old women held me tightly. The dark liquid Madame Beatrice forced into my mouth burned like hot fire running through my veins. My stomach twisted violently and I fell to the floor shaking. "Please, stop!" I cried, my voice breaking, but Madame Beatrice only watched with satisfaction. "Don't stop," she told the old women coldly. "Let the transformation finish." The room spun around me. My hands began to tremble uncontrollably. I looked down in horror as something impossible started happening to my body. My fingers were changing. The nails grew longer, thicker, sharper. Dark hair began sprouting across my arms. "No, no, no!" I screamed. My voice sounded strange now, rough, broken. One of the old women laughed quietly. "The juju is working." My bones cracked loudly as my legs twisted painfully. I felt my spine bend, forcing my body toward the ground. Then something even more terrifying happened. My face began to change. My jaw stretched painfully forward. My teeth grew sharp like knives. My nose burned as it pushed outward, becoming longer. I could smell everything in the room suddenly. The smoke, the herbs, the sweat of the women, even the dust on the floor. My senses had become frighteningly sharp. I tried to stand, but my body refused to move the way it used to. My arms and legs felt wrong, like they belonged to a different creature. When I looked down again, tears filled my eyes. My legs were no longer fully human. They were covered in brown fur. But my upper body, my chest, my hands were still human. I was no longer a woman, but I was not fully a dog either. I had become something in between, a half dog, half woman. The old woman stepped back, staring at me with dark satisfaction. "It is done," one of them said. Madame Beatrice walked slowly toward me. Her eyes were glowing with victory. I tried to speak. "Please, help me." But the sound that came out of my mouth was not a human voice. It was a hoarse bark mixed with a cry. Tears streamed down my face. Madame Beatrice looked down at me like I was nothing. "You see," she said calmly, "you are not dead." She bent down and grabbed my chin roughly. "But nobody will ever believe you are Diaze again." My heart broke. "Why are you doing this to me?" I tried to say. But again, only a strange growling sound came out. Madame Beatrice laughed. "Because now everything belongs to me." The old women began packing their strange items. One of them looked at Madame Beatrice. "What will you do with her?" Madame Beatrice smiled slowly. She cannot stay in this house. Before I understood what she meant, she grabbed a thick rope and tied it around my neck like an animal. Fear exploded inside my chest. She dragged me across the living room floor while I struggled helplessly. When she reached the door, she opened it and pulled me outside into the dark compound. The night air hit my face. Crickets were chirping. The moon shone brightly above the quiet village, but my life had already become a nightmare. Madame Beatrice dragged me to the gate and opened it. Then she threw me out onto the dusty road. I rolled on the ground painfully. "Get out," she said coldly. "From today, this is your life." She leaned closer to me one last time. "If you ever try to come back here," her eyes became darker, "I will finish the rest of the spell and turn you into a full dog forever." My body trembled with fear. Then she slammed the gate shut. Bang! I was alone. Alone on the road. Half dog, half woman. Tears fell from my eyes as I slowly stood up on my shaky legs. Some villagers passing by suddenly stopped when they saw me. One woman screamed, "Jesus, what kind of creature is that?" Another man picked up a stone. "Drive it away." The stone hit my shoulder painfully. I cried out and ran away as fast as I could. People began shouting behind me, "Chase it! Kill it! It's a spirit!" Fear pushed me forward as I ran through the dark streets of the village. My heart was breaking. My body was no longer mine. And the worst part? My own father was returning home the next morning. But when he saw me, would he even recognize his own daughter? Or would he also chase me away like the others? And somewhere behind the compound walls, Madame Beatrice was already smiling in victory because she believed Adiaze was gone forever. But deep inside my strange new body, my human heart was still alive. And one day, the truth would come out.